Please tell me I'm not the only one that got a slight little hard on when I saw this scene from the little teaser trailer that they had for the Wolverine Deadpool movie coming soon. But then I stopped to realize what was actually happening, and they tortured this figure. It's like a $100 figure. There are people out there that can't actually find this in person. But here, Ryan Reynolds is destroying Marvel Legends. It's an absolute crime against humanity. After seeing the intro to that teaser, I honestly hope the TVA wins. Well, not really, but you get what I'm saying. The anger is real from the Marvel Legends collectors community. But anyways, I'm getting off topic. If you guys haven't watched the new Deadpool Wolverine movie trailer, I highly suggest you guys check it out. It's definitely insane. And seeing Hugh Jackman reprise his role as Wolverine just never really gets old, and I hope he's able to do it at least for the foreseeable future. But anywho, I'm rambling. I'm going on about absolute nonsense here. I tend to do that from time to time. In today's video, I wanted to try out something that we did earlier, which was basically just look at really cool customs on eBay and just give you guys my personal take on what at least some of the best DC custom action figures just in general. I'm probably going to veer closer to the DC Multiverse or the McFarlane line, but I'll try to include a little bit of like old school Mattel stuff in there. Like I always say, there are some phenomenal creative customizers out there, and I just want to give them a quick little shout out for their phenomenal work. And obviously, if you guys are interested in any of these, you guys can actually look them up yourselves and, you know, keep an eye on them or purchase them outright. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. Let's start off with the first one in today's video. And it's actually pretty insane that we already have a custom of this figure, considering it was released within the last few months. We're talking about the steel action figure from the DC Multiverse, brought to us by none other than the Toddster himself. Now, originally this figure essentially just came with like a matte kind of silver or almost like a grayish color, not a lot of life to it, no shading, and I think they have like a side-by-side comparison of what the original one looks like from McFarlane and then how this customizer left the figure, and I have to say he did an absolutely phenomenal job. You can kind of see his custom almost have like a chrome finish, not to mention he does do the same thing for his hammer, and then he throws a wash on the cape, which really brings out a lot of details, sculpt work for the cape, and then the figure all around. It's nothing too crazy, nothing too insane, and I believe the seller is asking for $100 with free shipping. It also appears the individual is placing the figure back into the packaging, so if you want to display it in packaging with the custom paint job, you can do that, or if you want to remove it, it's really up to you. And I think it's really cool that the seller basically gives you an option between the two. So again, if you guys are interested, $100 free shipping. The seller does have pretty good ratings, not to mention there are 10 watchers on this item, so it's only a matter of time before they sell it, if not before I actually get the video up, because that's actually a pretty constant thing. Sometimes I'll start editing, or I'll record something and then start editing it, and then by the time I'm about to upload it, I might notice that 1 or 2 figures have sold out. But I guess that's kind of a risk when you decide to do videos based on listings. But there you have it if you guys are interested. Let's move on to the second figure on today's list, which is actually another perfect example of McFarlane giving us some phenomenal sculpt work on some of these action figures, but just not giving enough paint. And this is another one of those figures. According to the description on the listing, this is supposed to be like kind of a kit bash. The seller put together both of the Lex Luthor power suits and then essentially just did a repaint from head to toe. From what I remember, one of the Lex Luthor suits was supposed to be all green mostly, and then the other one was all blue. Like I said, phenomenal sculpt, but bare minimum with these figures, you at least needed to give them a wash just to kind of bring out the details, because a lot of the time if it's just one plastic, one monotone color, the sculpt just kind of gets lost in there. But I think this particular seller just did a phenomenal job. It's also worth noting that the price point is very accessible. I think there was some sort of issue with like some glue residue on the cape or something like that, according to the description, but it's not really that big of an issue. You can kind of just replace the cape. That's probably one of the easiest things to do, but the paintwork is the real heavy lifting here. But again, at about $60 and free shipping, I think this is a phenomenal bargain. Even if you need to go in there and kind of touch up some things here and there, the base work is already done. The dirty work, all you really need to go and do is maybe replace the head sculpt if you want a new one, or just replace the cape, which is essentially the only real issue that the figure appears to have. But still, a great pickup if you're looking to buy a Lex Luthor that is really going to stand out in your display. We're definitely switching it up with the next figure on today's video, and that is because this veers closer to a 1/12 scale, at least from what I can see in the description and the photographs. It looks like this may be like a Marvel Legends body mold, like just the base mold for an action figure. I'm not sure who it is exactly. I'm not going to sit here and pretend to know every single body sculpt, but this definitely seems like Marvel Legends engineering, especially with those reverse and forward butterfly joints. It looks very well painted. It also comes with some extra accessories for your Batman Beyond action figure, and it is also worth noting, I think I've already mentioned this, but McFarlane did release his own 1/10 scale, or his scale, the 7-inch line, for his DC Multiverse line. So if you guys are interested in like a slightly bigger figure, this isn't really going to fit in with your DC Multiverse line from McFarlane. This is closer to, I think, what Mattel was doing back in the day. Regardless, the figure looks really well done. It is definitely up there in price. You're looking at about $120 with free shipping. With taxes, that's probably going to take you upwards of like $130. And just like every entry on today's list, there are about 21 watchers, so definitely keep an eye on it if you guys are interested. And something worth noting, I know I kind of brought this up in a previous video, but just like that seller, this seller has just had enough of people asking for free tutorials or like a how-to on how to create his custom figures. He's absolutely done with it. Only message him if you're interested in the figure. So it's just kind of funny. The dude has had absolutely enough. Stop pestering this individual with your nonsense, please. The last item that I wanted to go over isn't technically a custom, but it's more of a custom accessory that you can add to your action figures to really make them pop on your display. And we're talking about this beautiful clothed wired cape. This is something that for the longest time people have been asking, demanding from McFarlane, and he's slowly but surely getting to the point where a lot of the figures that deserve wired capes are getting them, but there are still a number of those figures being released that have that hard plastic when it comes down to their capes. It's not the end of the world, but because McFarlane has now had the license for quite some time, you do expect the DC Multiverse line to continue to evolve and get better, and it seems like that's where we're headed with McFarlane. But as I mentioned, there are still figures that don't have the wired capes, and this is a perfect alternative. If you're looking to purchase this, you will be paying under $20 with shipping and taxes and everything included. The seller does have some pretty solid reviews. As with, you know, any eBay seller, there will be a review here and there that isn't so glamorous, but for the most part, this particular seller does seem to have some pretty good feedback. So if you guys are interested in getting a blue wired cloth cape, this is a perfect listing for you. And what's even more fantastic is we've gotten to the point where people can manufacture these for almost next to nothing. So they're readily affordable, and they're very easy to find through eBay or whatever third party you prefer for your custom accessories. And I'll be brutally honest with you guys, when I was putting this video together, I could definitely see the difference between custom Marvel Legends or just Marvel action figures in general compared to the DC universe, which doesn't really have a lot of custom stuff. Or if there are some customs out there, they weren't really worth mentioning. They weren't really customs. Sometimes they would just include like an extra head sculpt or things of that nature, or extra accessories. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. You guys enjoy this type of content. Let me know down below what your favorite custom was on today's video, or like I said, if you guys enjoy this type of content. We're always trying to switch it up, do things a little bit different. So as I said, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. As always, stay tuned because we do have a ton of content. I have some pretty crazy ideas, so hopefully within the next couple of weeks you guys get to see some new fresh content. So stay safe out there, enjoy the hobby, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you.